Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Magical Artist Tour. This is episode 3. I'm Brian Chapman for Topanga New Times, and today we are talking to Dana Huffman. Hope you enjoy this. Take it away, Olivia Poole.
All right, so I'm here today on behalf of Topanga New Times with magical artist Dana Huffman. And Dana, I've been checking out your work on your website, and you're obviously part of the Topanga County Gallery's virtual gallery tour this year, and some really cool stuff coming up in your work, and it's got such a it's obviously beyond just what we're seeing. There's a lot more to it. And I'm going to let you tell us a little bit about this, because I know I love this Carl Jung quote that I saw on your website. So I kind of just want to jump into that immediately, actually, which is kind of talking about mandalas, because I think the mandala thing is so fascinating.
Yeah,
There's
well,
one behind you.
there,
Yes.
there's one behind me. I had started trying out this practice that I knew nothing about called holotropic breath work, and it went on to really facilitate some really profound changes for me in my life and in my productivity, my creativity and everything. And part of the process in holotropic breath work is after the breath work itself, we do mandala drawing, and the kind of the, I suppose, the essence of what a mandala refers to, and we're sort of in the symbolic world here. Is kind of like a snapshot of a moment in the universe, is sort of. And the idea, at least for me, is that each of us are our own universe, and the process of creating a mandala is like a snapshot of a moment in our psyches, in our unconscious. And that kind of, I've loved that. As I've come to understand that concept, I've loved it, and of course also experienced the sort of, the meditative process of it, and the kind of the over time, you kind of can see how some of these things just sort of take hold deeply inside, so that's kind of how my visual art started. I've always been a musician. That's my training is in music. I am an improvisational musician at that, and that's essentially the same process that my art comes from. Is sort of, maybe when I start something, maybe kind of creating a little bit of parameters within which to work. And that, by the way, is I consider sacred geometry. Just any instinct, any impulse, it theoretically has some meaning from the unconscious. So if I choose some random points, let's say on a piece of paper, and decide that those will be, the vanishing points or something like that, it's not that I think it's necessary to, try and analyze why I chose that piece of paper, that, area of that piece of paper to put a dot. It's not that. It's sort of essentially kind of quieting your left mind, when possible, as in meditation, and just allowing it to then happen. And this is successful sometimes on a good day, and it's not always that easy, of course. But I really value the stretches where it really just seems to flow, and that to me is kind of the essence of the ability to just every so often be able to tap into the universal energy just for a moment or two, and then you kind of have this thing to look at, which is somehow some abstract snapshot of that moment that you tapped into in a way. And it mirrors psyche and the universe in any sense. And I just like to go with the symbolic that has a lot of meaning to me there. And it's been fuel for me for 10 years now in visual art.
So beautiful and really, really quite profound. So is that your typical process when you're creating? Do you feel like, do you normally do like some sort of, some of the breath work that you teach and that you practice and then you go into painting, or do you just wing it? Like, what's the process?
After I do a breathwork session, I very often now will sit down to do a mandala and immediately get into like professional artist mode and just freeze up, of course, right?
Oh, no.
So
Yeah.
And I went through my frustrations with that and everything, and coming though to a place of acceptance of that and like, dude, it's okay. You don't have to draw a mandala right now if you want. The last thing it should be is obligatory. You know what I mean? So being able to kind of accept that, like, okay, my brain is sort of shifted, and just recognizing that, I think is a good thing. But like I said, on a good day, you can sort of sit down, whether you did breath work or not, with what some of us like to refer to as beginner's mind, and let it go from there. It really facilitates just something deep, something inside. You can't necessarily put your finger on it. And over time, it's every so often you kind of have a little realization that you maybe sort of moved another step down the path,
Yeah, totally. The path of individuation.
There you go.
Yeah, cool. So you have a couple pieces behind you, and they can see more of these, of course, on the Topanga Canyon Gallery website as well as your own website. But would you bring one of them a little closer to the screen, and just, of course, it's a large one.
Pretty big.
Yeah.
But if you can
Wow.
see the shape. You should be able to see the outline of California in there.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Lighting, yeah. This is one of my biggest. I think it's 32 by 40. Now, of course, this is not round and it's not symmetrical or anything. But to me, this is still, everything I do is sort of could be categorized as mandala art. Simply because it's about the concept of where it comes from and the process, as opposed to the definitions of what's supposed to be the criteria that makes a mandala. This is I gotta tell you, in the last 4 years, I've been born and raised in California, and I have never been the kind of person to be nationalistic or proud of something that I didn't accomplish myself, but I've been pretty thankful that my parents, who were both born here as well, decided to stay and raise their family here. I love California, and I have been kind of feeling proud of of being born and raised here, and the states of mind that many of us here, grow up in, and the tolerance, and that just sort of, it feels pretty innate to me. And of course, things are really confusing right now, all over the place, but a lot of what is being fought for right now, I believe, has set in pretty well for an entire state. So I'm really happy to be from California and carry some of those values that are important to me, and I think they're important to the world. And I go with that and just sort of take it day by day.
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. I like it.
Mhm.
And I'm so happy to be in California too. Are you here in Topanga?
Yes.
Okay, wonderful.
Yeah.
Cool. So show us the mandala one that you have
Okay.
too.
So
There you go. Yeah.
this one is started out as a drawing. I want to mention real quick. A lot of people tend to think my art is all digital, and I worked with digital audio for many years. I'm totally fine with digital and everything, but it's not. It's all by hand, and sometimes I'm compelled to make sure that people know that. And I don't know why. It's probably just an ego thing or something. But
You know, from what I've seen of your artwork, it's just, you know, it has like such a beautiful precision to it. And I think people probably, I can see how easily people would mistake that for just, you know, being cranked out by a computer, but it's being done by you and it's being channeled by you, it sounds like. So it's really, really beautiful in that way.
thank you. I
Yeah.
want to show you one more, my most recent snapshot of the universe, which I finished last night. And this is all ink on watercolor paper, 18 by 24. And yeah, this is just simply one person just trying to find a place of calm on behalf of humanity, you know?
Mm.
And so this is whatever the universe looked like sometime last night, or my psyche looked like. I guess this is it.
I love
uh,
that term, a snapshot of the universe, you know, from your lens of perception. It's like really so cool.
oh, thank you. Yeah, yeah, I like that too. It's really been like a rebirth for me of creativity. I was a stifling perfectionist musically, so I really was able to open up in the visual realm, and with no intention. No, I didn't plan it or anything like that. And I love to say that that's why it worked, is because I didn't plan to switch to visual art. So that's why I have managed to be kind of prolific about it, really, in a way. And I used to be so jealous of all my prolific music composer friends and everything. And I would just get right up in there and just freeze up, you know. So this is kind of my liberation from that. You know?
So cool. So let's end by, because I'm sure you have some good advice for those people out there, which I'm definitely not. But all of the people out there who are perfectionists or recovering perfectionists, what's just a small piece of advice that you would share with folks?
So what I have found is that the more expectation I have about something that hasn't happened yet, the more of a notion I have of how it's supposed to be, how it's supposed to turn out, how it's supposed to benefit me, is more likely than not going to move me further away from the whatever the end, I don't know, the end product is supposed to be, or there even being an end product, you know.
All right. So that's the advice for everyone. I think that's such a great note to end on, is just really, you know, releasing expectations and tapping into that snapshot of the universe in this moment. And
Yeah.
Dana, thank you so much for taking the time to chat with us today. And people can look for you on your own website and the Topanga Canyon Gallery website as well. And
Mm-hmm.
we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Thanks a lot.
Yet another fascinating conversation with a local Topanga Canyon artist. Dana Huffman, thank you for joining us on the Magical Artist Tour, Episode 3. Thanks, Olivia Poole. Thank you, Topanga New Times and Topanga Canyon Gallery. I'm Brian Chapman. We'll see you next time.